kind of theme within this matchup is obviously the revenge factor, the rematch factor, which the Eagles players talked about that a little bit tonight. Lane Johnson, Darius Slay talked about playing the Chiefs again in the Super Bowl and what that means. A lot of elements, if you guys listen to the show, JD's talked about before, kind of the elements of like, oh, new team. This isn't the same team from 2 years ago. And, some guys still think about that matchup. And so it still lives in the back of some of these guys' minds. So here's the Eagles players on the revenge factor.
Yeah, I mean, you go back and look at it, there were some plays that we definitely like to have back. But I credit Kansas City for, what they've established and how they've been here consistently for the past 5 out of 6 years. So, I think this year maybe we can be more focused, possibly as a group. And that's really it.
I just see it as the next game because the revenge game, we don't got the same roster. You know what I'm saying? We're not the 22 roster. We're the 24 Eagles, so it's not the same roster. I just think it's just the next big game we got, and we're looking forward to it.
I think their DNA is still the same. They still got some of the same players. They added a few players, but the DNA, that's who they are, and they haven't changed, so it's going to be tough regardless.
So what do you make of it, JD? How big of the I know everyone wants to talk about Chiefs Eagles Part 2, but how big of it is a revenge factor? Just 2 years ago, it's not last year.
Well, the guys that experienced the loss, it still lives with them, no question about it. So for them, it is kind of somewhat of a revenge. They need to go ahead and right what they got wrong last time, and so for them, that's how they live. But they do understand that there is other guys in the locker room now than was on the roster then. So does that make them better? Maybe. Do the guys that's in there now, do they understand it doesn't give them a better shot at chance? They feel like they do. They feel like it definitely does. So, I think, when you're kind of looking at this, like Frank said, and I said this before, you don't need Baltimore material. There's nothing that needs to be said. Everybody understands what this thing is all about. And so regardless you beat them 2 years ago or not, all that matters is this Sunday. That's it. That's the only thing that matters. And so, 2 years ago, whatever, this and that, we're living for today, man. This is how it goes. This is exactly how it goes, man. It's how it should be done. So, what was the revenge factor when they came in and beat us in our house? You know what I mean? Was that the revenge factor? So
I would say, just my opinion, I would say that was more of a revenge factor because that was soon closer to that Super Bowl, whereas this is a 2-year layoff since then. That was a 1 year. And, like we talked about like last week, that their defense, they have 8 new starters on their defense versus 2 years ago. So like, I'm sure maybe last year they had more guys who were still on that team from the year prior. So I'd say last year's more of the revenge factor, but obviously media's going to hype up the revenge factor because it is the rematch of the Super Bowl from 2 years ago, the Eagles Chiefs. So like, there's merchandise from that Super Bowl, that people are still propping up and wearing.
Yeah, no, look, it's they're going to do it, but this is a new game. It's a new team, new squad. Both teams got new players, so it's going to be a different game altogether. It is. So that's the way you got to look at it. You're not looking at this guy now. Oh, no, we didn't have that guy. This is who we had to deal with. So you can learn some things, obviously, from that film. But the carryover to this game, I don't know how much it's going to be. Same thing with maybe how we defended against them last time in the Super Bowl. I was actually watching NFL Network. Kurt Warner was talking about some of the things that Spags did against them, and will look different. Sure, it has to look different. And you can take some of that film and say, "Hey, man, this is what we had. Well, shoot, we don't have Snead anymore. We're not here about some of the guys we got DB wise, wide receiver wise, running back wise. So." It's come on, man. It's a new game, new day, new game, and that's how we got to look at it. So,
yeah, so seeing what AJ Bryant did mention, whether maybe a lot of new guys, the Chiefs still have the same culture, they still have the same kind of like Still the same vibe. There's the same championship pedigree that, like, while it was 2 years ago, they've only won it, continuously won it since that game. So that's still the same magic on the other side of the ball. And that's, essentially, what you kind of getting out there, right? The same locker room, the same DNA, that's still there, So, like, while it is 2 years ago, that's everything's still the same. Same coaching staff, same quarterback, many of the guys on defense, many of the guys on offense. And I feel like I haven't looked at the full rosters between both of them, but I feel like we have more of the same guys from that team 2 years ago than they do as far as the starters wise, right?
Let me see. You said we have more of the same, like, continuity than they do?
Wise, as far as starters wise.
I think so. Shoot, if you're thinking offensive line, the only thing that's new would
Wiley,
be
Javonte or Wiley.
Right. That's it. Then the wide receivers, obviously. But, running back, you got Kareem Hunt. You still got Patrick Mahomes. You still got Travis Kelce. Gray's still in there. So we got some guys. Then you start going on the defensive side of the football. Snead's the only one that we don't have. Mike Edwards is another guy. I'm trying to think who else. So we didn't have Frank. Frank is not there.
That's true.
Let me see. Other than that, man, that's pretty much it. So Amenahu.
Want to make some quick cash while enjoying the big game with your family and friends? Together with our friends at Underdog, we got a few exciting things to share with you. First, if you've yet to download the Underdog app, do so now and get free cash. Click the link in the description or use promo code CHIEFCONCERNS, that's one word, to claim your free pick plus first-time deposit offer up to 1,000 smackaroos in bonus cash. New users will also get a Travis Kelce free pick for every new customer who signs up on Underdog before the big game. Secondly, for all existing Underdog users, Underdog is offering a no-sweat Sunday entry for all users, which means that everyone will either cash in on their big game entry or get their money back in bonus credit. If you have no idea how to play, well, we got you covered. Over the last 5 weeks, we have given 19 selections and have cashed on 15 of them. Pretty good. Predicting higher or lower on multiple different player statistics. So we are ready to continue this heater into the big game between the Chiefs and Eagles and beyond into the NBA season. So let's make this money and have a damn good time. That was the rookie year of that 2022 draft class. So, like, all those guys are still here, and
all the guys are here.
Those guys are have more presence and leadership now.
That's right. So yeah, now I think for that, Marcus, I think it gives us an edge. Of having that consistency and continuity on our side, because guys understand what's expected out of them, and they've been here before. So these moments won't get too big for them. They won't. These guys, these young guys that the Eagles have, I remember they was talking to Jalen Carter about, how's he going to feel going up against the Chiefs and whatnot, offensive line. And, they was here a couple of years ago. He was like, look, I have a couple of national championships under my belt. He said, but this is a much bigger game. This is something totally different. So he said it's still, football to him, but he understands how big of a game this is. It's completely something different. The more you have guys that have done this before, the easier it helps out. It easily helps out. And so almost like where Frank was going to Lou Frank has some really good things that he said is it's the guys that don't play that you got to reel in and make sure they understand the moment too. Make sure they're not the distraction going out doing all these other things. No. We coming down here, it's all business. It's all business. We want to make sure that we enjoy it for what it is. But don't get too ahead of yourself, outside of yourself. We got to focus up and take care of our thing. We have to. So the main thing is still the main thing, brother.
Exactly. Now, plenty of time to celebrate and enjoy the stuff outside of football, because after Sunday, you got a full off season ahead of you. So enjoy it as a back to back champion. So plenty of time.
Well, look, they Saquon Barkley's new for them. Shoot. Yeah. There's some guys that, that these young rookie corners, they're going to have to see this. The halftime show is going to be a little bit longer. It's another thing that you have to contend with. So all those things matter. It all matter because it's like if you never did that before in this long halftime show, what do you do? How do you get ready? How do you not staying loose all the way through it? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially this halftime show. What was was it last year or 2 years ago where someone ended up watching the halftime show? Was that the Los Angeles? I think it was the year we didn't make. It was the LA. It was the LA one where someone they had video of him. Somebody from the Rams or the Bengals was watching the LA halftime show.
Oh yeah.
Hi everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.